Welcome to my August 2022 Hot Picks video for Library Thing early reviewers. August is a big month for early reviewers with over 200 books available to request. That's a lot of books to choose from, but I've gone through the whole list and found 23 that look pretty interesting. If you're looking for free books and you're willing to write reviews of them, this video can help you pick the right ones. Here are my recommendations. Book 1. Random. This is a comedic novel by Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller fame. It's about a young man named Bobby Ingersoll who inherits crushing gambling debts from his father. He only has 2 weeks to pay these debts to the local criminal scumbags, but just in the nick of time, he stumbles upon enough money to pay off the debt. That stroke of luck inspires him to create and follow a new philosophy called Random, which is all about making choices based on a roll of the dice. This book is available in paper format. Books 2 through 6 are collections of short stories by influential authors. Weird and horrific stories by H.P. Lovecraft, romantic and horrific stories by Bram Stoker, scientific and horrific stories by H.G. Wells, fantastic and horrific stories by Arthur Machen, and mysterious and horrific stories by Joseph Sheridan Le Fanu. You may know the authors for their more famous works, but these are paperback collections of their more obscure and hard-to-find short stories. Book 7. Funeral Train, a Dust Bowl Mystery. This is about an Oklahoma town that's struggling through the 1930s Dust Bowl. A passenger train becomes derailed, filling the town's hospital with the dead and injured. The sheriff investigates the derailment while worrying about his wife who was injured on the train. He also has to see whether the murder of a local recluse is connected to the derailment. The author's previous mystery novel, Death of a Rainmaker, was critically acclaimed. Available in paper format. Book 8. The Maze Cutter. This is the follow-up to the popular Maze Runner series of young adult dystopian novels, taking place 73 years after the events of the Death Cure. Available in paper format. Book 9. Mother Brain. How Neuroscience is Rewriting the Story of Parenthood. This is a look at the psychological effects of becoming a parent and how parenthood itself is a stage of a human being's development, told both through science and the author's personal anecdotes. This book is in paper format. Book 10. Children of Sugarcane. This novel is about a girl named Shanti who lives in rural India. To escape poverty, caste, and forced marriage, she flees to South Africa only to face hardship and slave labor there. Available in paper format. Book 11. The Greatest Polar Expedition of All Time, the Arctic mission to the epicenter of climate change. This is about the scientists who sailed aboard an icebreaker deep into the Arctic to study climate change. It describes the dangers and struggles of living and doing scientific work in the harsh environment, and the natural wonders the crew observed. Available in paper format. Book 12. Becoming Kin, an indigenous call to unforgetting the past and reimagining our future. The author, who is of Ukrainian and Anishinaabe heritage, analyzes history, science, and culture to show how both indigenous and Western people can come together and unforget their shared identity. Available in paper format. Book 13. Ready, Set, O. This novel, available in paper format, takes place in the turbulent 1960s and is about a love triangle between a young, failed medical student who faces the prospect of being drafted into the Vietnam War, a pregnant art student who has mental health challenges, and a UFO chaser. Book 14. Crybaby. Infertility, illness, and other things that were not the end of the world. The author, who calls herself a failed perfectionist and successful hypochondriac, writes about how she has learned to cope and thrive as life throws her one crisis after another. Available in paper format. Book 15, Cancion. This is about a person's travels around the world as he searches for clues about his grandfather's disappearance during the Guatemalan Civil War in 1967. He meets a Japanese woman whose grandfather survived the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. This novel, available in paper format, is a commentary on war and the legacy it leaves behind. Book 16, The Big Festival of Lights, Stories and Plays for Hanukkah. This collection of short stories and plays by 9 prominent Jewish figures of the early 20th century is a celebration of Jewish culture, families, and traditions. Available in paper format. Book 17, From the Lighthouse. This looks like a violent and creepy novel about 2 people named Knot and Bigman who live in an abandoned lighthouse. Sometimes they fight, and Knot tries to run away, which Big Man won't allow. But Big Man is getting old and less capable of controlling Knot, and Knot has allies. Available in ebook format. Book 18, Awaiting Arrival. This is about an astronaut and his crew who are going on a lifelong journey to reach a planet that may be habitable. This novel, available in ebook format, focuses on the struggle of the astronaut to keep the mission going and maintain his physical and mental health. Book 19, They Whisper in My Blood. This is a multi-generational epic novel about a Portuguese Indian family. It features a foreword by Bollywood film legend Amitabh Bachchan and is available in both paper and ebook formats. Book 20, Vox Astro, When Clouds Die. This is a collection of military sci-fi stories. Its predecessor, Vox Astro, The Black Box, received positive reviews. Available in ebook format. Book 21, Agape and Other Kinds of Love. This book calls itself hip-hop historical fiction, an epic verse novel set in modern and ancient Athens, inspired by Plato's The Symposium. Available in ebook format. Book 22, On the Emancipation of Hatred. This is a study on the ethics of hatred based on classical philosophy, the author's own experiences, and current affairs such as the war in Ukraine, the abortion debate, and the attack on the US Capitol. It asks whether hatred can be justified and whether those afflicted by it can ever be free. Available in ebook format. Book 23, Far Away. This is a literary travelogue novel about a person who seeks freedom on the road after getting dumped and kicked out of the military. It claims to evoke Jack Kerouac's On the Road and J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye. It explores themes around racism, religion, love, and hatred. Available in ebook format. Those are my picks for Library Thing Early Reviewers, August 2022. You have until August 25 at 6 p.m. Eastern to make your selections. Good luck and happy reading!